Hello, hello. Wow, that was loud. I'm sorry about that. I was not expecting that. Happy Friday, guys. My name is Kevin Paloe from Yahoo Entertainment, and welcome to the press conference for Sony Pictures' Peter Rabbit. Please give it up. We are in beautiful West Hollywood, California. I'm going to introduce the super talented folks from this film in just a second. We've got all sorts of fun stuff in store. We might bring up some live rabbits. No, we killed the rabbits. I don't mean we killed the rabbits. I don't mean we killed the rabbits. There were no rabbits harmed in the planning of this press conference. We did not kill any rabbits. Anyhow, this is not your average press conference, though, because we are streaming this live to Facebook on the Yahoo Entertainment page as we speak. So hello, if you're watching this at home or at work or wherever you might be today, on a farm. We are going to, in addition to taking questions from the fine members of the press, and we've got some kids here today, which is great to see. Welcome, guys. We're going to take your questions live on Facebook, so if you have them at any point, you can enter them into the comment section. We will get to as many as we can. But without further ado, let me introduce the cast and director of Peter Rabbit. First up, Elizabeth Debicki. Hello. Margot Robbie.
Hi.
Domhnall Gleeson. James Corden. Rose Byrne. And the director, Will Gluck. How you guys doing today?
Good, thank you.
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Friday morning. James, let's start with you. You are the one and only Peter Rabbit. Tell us about channeling your inner bunny for this role.
I don't know that I ever, in the conversations that we had with Will, it was never really about channeling an inner rabbit. It was mostly about how do we find a way to honor this character that is so beloved by Beatrix Potter? How do we unlock this kind of lovable, mischievous character that has been created in these beautiful books and honor it now in a film? And I just feel very fortunate that I was able to work with a director and writer like Will, who just understood and understands the legacy of that character and the world that it lives in, and more than anything just wants to reintroduce this character to so many young people who then hopefully will leave the movie theater and go and discover these incredible books. You know, I feel like an ever so slight fraud stood between Domhnall and Rose, who were out there really doing all this proper acting, where I just was able to turn up in my pajamas and do this for a few hours at a time, you know?
Is that actually your method? You show up in your PJs?
Well, it didn't really matter what I wore. I would just turn up and...
But you wore something.
I was very much clothed throughout the whole process. That would be really strange.
Margo and Elizabeth, hello back there.
Hi.
You two play two of three of Peter's sisters, along with Daisy Ridley. Margo, you are the ever-frustrated Flopsy. And Elizabeth, you are the somewhat human, infatuated Mopsy, I think you could say. Tell us about the recording process for you guys in finding the voices of these bunnies, and what you enjoyed about the recording process.
Well, it was very fun. I hadn't been involved in an animated / live action film before, so it was a new process for me. It's kind of liberating being the voice of an animated character, where you can kind of concentrate on the voice as opposed to your physical actions. But no, I was very jealous that I was finally a part of a film that was, at least some of it was shooting in Australia, and I didn't get to be there for the Australia portion, which is ironic. But it was just fun exploring, being a rabbit.
How about you, Elizabeth?
Well, I had a really lovely time as well. You know, I think finding the voices, it's so interesting when you make an animation, because you contribute some, and then you see what the character starts to look like as the animation grows, and then that might change what you're doing with your voice a little bit. But also, I love that when we're recording, they film us, and the rabbits sort of, you know, when I watched the film for the first time, I could sort of see us in the bunnies too, which is like such a lovely thing to see. But I have to say that I just love Flopsy so much because of her sweet little lisp. I think it's the sweetest little voice I've ever heard. I'm so in love with her. And Mopsy's not nearly as cute or adorable, and I think she's bossier and a little sort of more strong-willed. But no, it was a really fun process.
Well, the film is a mix of CGI and live action, and Domhnall and Rose, you guys are the live action representatives among this cast here today. You essentially play yourselves, right? I think. No,
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
More or less.
No, Domhnall, you are the snooty toy shop manager, Mr. Mcgregor. Rose, you are an idealistic painter who has moved out to the country recently. But tell us, what I'd like to know first from you guys is sort of like what the process for you entailed on set, working opposite these CGI characters. What are you guys looking at throughout all of this action? Is it stuffed animals? Is it a tennis ball? How do you capture that?
Yeah, both, right? I mean, it was tennis balls, men in blue leotards. What else was there? Like
Blue stick.
blue stick. Yeah.
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 Is that a surreal experience? Does that get more normal as the days go on?
It does. It's weird. You start going,
weird.
where's the bunny? Where's the blue ball? Where's the ball? It's my man. It's my scene partner. You know, like, where did it go? Yeah, you kind of adjust to it, and then occasionally you catch yourself going, what am I doing? But yeah, you got to commit, right?
Yeah. I think one of the central things of the film is that humans don't know that animals can talk in the world that we exist in, and so it was good in a way. There wasn't a lot of going back and forth between like conversation scenes with the rabbits, which I think probably helped a little.
Mr. Will Gluck.
Yes.
Most of us are familiar with your work from comedies like Easy A, Friends with Benefits, and there is a very noticeable comedic bent to this movie. It's very, very funny. How did you go about sort of finding the tone of the film throughout the writing and in the pre-production?
It was a long process trying to figure it out. Just as it's hard for these guys to act with blue balls. That's weird.
There are kids here.
Strange. That's something you would have said, Donald.
Don't blame me. You said that.
Actually, Margot Robbie, everybody. It's hard to kind of figure out with the tone of the movie, but oftentimes, a lot of directors say, you know, it's so great, we have such an amazing cast, but this is an amazing cast. I mean, for Rose and Domhnall on set, and then these guys in the ADR sessions, a lot of it is their personalities. So much of this is their personalities. James and I had many different sessions where we kind of did a lot of the rewriting and figuring stuff out, and same with Margo and Elizabeth, and I think this is like a group effort trying to figure out where everyone comes from. But I know this sounds crazy. We tried so desperately to keep it grounded in reality, and what we thought, going back to what James said earlier, what Beatrix Potter would kind of smile down on us for. So that was kind of the headline always is, does this make sense in her world? And we were very religious in that regard.
I thought that comment that got a lot of laughter a minute ago was actually kind of appropriate, because I think like all good kids movies these days, there are moments, obviously tons of moments that are going to appeal to kids, but there are plenty of moments that might go over their heads and then are going to appeal to the parents who have to take them there. So what do you guys all think is sort of the sweet spot in terms of the age range, the ideal age range for this movie?
From 2 to 98.
From 2 to 98.
Anything other than that, I would say stay away.
That's 4 quadrants, I believe they call that in Hollywood, right?
But we were very, again, there's a lot of stuff for both kids and adults, but you're never going to feel left out in this movie. There's never a joke or a scene that's just for adults and the kids don't understand. Almost every beat of this movie works on both levels concurrently, and that took a lot of time, and with everyone else helping us, we think we kind of hit the sweet spot. So it's a movie that you're going to have to take your kids to because they're nagging you to, but then you're going to be very excited very early in that it's for you as well.
James and Margo and Elizabeth, you guys were obviously in the recording booth for your experience on this film. Were you able to go off script at all, or was it so carefully scripted because the animation process had already been started?
Well, it hadn't really. It's it's a constantly sort of moving feast in terms of I think the first thing we did was lay down a voice, and then animators would start to work to that. But then it's only really until it got to the very, very final finished thing that you had to start syncing to any particular animation. So in terms of, I don't know if you'd ever call it improvisation. It was much more sort of Will and I discussing, oh, is this right? Does this feel right? Trying stuff. That wasn't right. And then also trying stuff, it going into a cut and then watching it as a whole and going, no, that doesn't feel quite right. We should take that bit out and changing. It was a constantly evolving feast, really, which actually made the whole thing feel very, very organic. And it never really felt like you were tied into just speaking to what had already been animated and done. It was always felt like it was moving and evolving. I don't know what it felt like for the girls.
Well, I think part of Will's genius is that he's so spontaneous when you're recording, and so genius. I said.
I just want to make sure that Rose heard that. I whispered it. I heard that, right?
You know, and that was really fun. You know, that we would try a line, but then maybe there was a funnier version or a funnier word or pitch it in a different way. And I mean, as an actor, it's a real workout, you know, vocally and mentally, because you're just throwing things all over the place and seeing what sticks, and that's sort of the joy of watching it for the first time, just seeing really like what ended up being used, and yeah.
Margot, tell us about the lisp. Where did this come from?
I think the lisp was always in the script, wasn't it? I loved it though. There's something quite endearing about a character with a lisp, and you also can understand where her frustration comes from sometimes if she can't actually articulate herself in the way that she wants to. But more than that, she's trying to I don't know, win the status quo with her sisters sometimes, and that's a fun thing. I grew up in a big family with lots of brothers and sisters, and I love that dynamic of who gets the front seat, who's the oldest, you know, like that kind of stuff. It's I could relate to it, and had a lot of fun with it. I'm the third of four, so I know what it's like to try and find the power play in that dynamic.
Same here, third of four, by the way.
I'm the eldest of four. I always had the front seat.
You didn't even have to call shotgun.
Nope.
You just got it.
Nope.
You just got it. I know you guys have some questions, so let's open it up to the floor. Yes, right here in front. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? We're going to pass you a mic so everybody can hear this at home. Coming right down. Pass that mic.
Pass it.
Pass the mic.
There we go.
Thank you.
This is a question for James. Victoria Infante, and we've as a mommy bloggers, we have seen you in so many, a lot of animated movies. So are we gonna see you sometime in a real life movie?
Well, maybe, I don't know. I have this other job which
Do you have the
takes
interest?
up quite a lot of my time at the moment. Yeah, maybe, you know, some things coming out, but yeah, I'm doing a little bit in this film that's called Ocean's 8, but I have a tiny little part in that. It's it's difficult. Any parents in here would tell you don't really ever want to go away and leave your children, so I feel very lucky that I have a job that allows me to be around them, and even more lucky that I just get to be in this orbit for but a moment, but you know, maybe. We'll see.
And by the way, if you haven't seen him in Into the Woods, which is a live-action musical he did a couple of years ago, check that out. Okay, yes. Yes, right here in front. Oh, no, I'm talking to you. Yes. Hi. Oh, yeah.
Hi, my name is Morgan Birch, and I'm a reporter for Kids First. This is a question for all of you. I know that you come from many different backgrounds, like Suicide Squad as Harley Quinn. Now you're Bunnies. Also, you come from Star Wars, Goodbye, Christopher Robin. So what kind of personalities did you take from those characters and put them into the characters that you're playing now?
Ooh. Margot?
Trying to find a correlation between Harley Quinn and Flopsy Rabbit.
Yeah, 'cause you're playing like a crazy character, and now you're going to play a cute character.
Can't say they have too much in common, but I guess what I always enjoy is playing someone who's so different from myself and getting them to say and do the things I wouldn't do in real life. That's kind of the joy of acting. It was also nice to be in a film with Domhnall again. We didn't get to physically work together on this one because obviously I was doing the animated portion, he was doing the live action portion, but I've always enjoyed Domhnall's comedy so much. To see his like physical comedy really get to shine in this movie was particularly enjoyable for me. Can't see a whole lot of Alan, his character from Goodbye Christopher Robin, in Mr. Mcgregor. Maybe. What do you think?
No, he interacts with a children's literature character, I suppose. That's about
true.
it. Yeah.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
You were in Star Wars?
I'm in Star Wars, everybody. I don't know if you guys know. I'm in Star Wars.
I'm not in Star Wars,
James
even
is
though
not in Star
loads
Wars.
of people think I die in the last one. No, it's true.
Really?
Yeah, there's a character right at the start. I haven't seen it, but there's a character right at the start.
It's made $1.3 billion. You haven't seen it?
Well, then you're fine without me.
Well, this is a good follow-up. This comes from Facebook. Mary wants to know, Domhnall, are there similarities between Hux and Mr. Mcgregor?
Very similar, yeah. It's kind of, I think, yeah, they're both a little bit uptight. They both get thrown into walls. There's definitely a crossover, but no, it was the first time. I think the aim with the whole film, generally with this film, is like to make children happy, to make children laugh. There's no better sound in the world than like a group of kids laughing. It's like it just makes you happy as well. So the aim is slightly different from Star Wars in that this is, for children. And so if it does what we set out to do with it, and it makes some children laugh, then I'll be absolutely delighted. I'm not sure that Star Wars did as much of that.
Well, it's for children and 98-year-olds, right?
And yes, that's the cutoff.
If you're 100, stay out of the theater.
Yeah.
You're not welcome here.
Yes, right here on the end. Yes. Can you wait for the mic? There.
Sorry, thank you. Hi, I'm Kathy with Bel Air Mommy, and I was wondering what you would like each child to walk away learning from this movie.
Each child individually?
Each child individually, absolutely.
Well, I'm very fortunate. My son is 6, and he's seen the film, and we talked about it afterwards, and I hadn't really realised this sort of that this would be something that kids might take away from it until he brought it up with me, where he said to me, the thing I love about the film is that everybody makes mistakes, and everyone's going to make mistakes, and all the grown-ups here and all the children here are going to, there's some mistakes coming your way, and that's inevitable. But what's important is not the mistake that you make, it's how you react to that mistake and the person you are after that mistake. And that's what he took away from the film, which I thought was a really kind of amazing thing to go, it's who you are and how you react in places where you may have gone, I messed up, and it's what you do then. And if kids can come away with that would be a really, I don't know if that's what that means anything to you all, but that's what my son sort of thought about it, and I thought, well, that's a wonderful message, really.
We're going to go to Facebook for the next one. This is from Conrad. If each of you had a rabbit, what would you name it?
Conrad. I'm Conrad.
Thank you, Conrad. Rose.
I did have a rabbit, and he was called Bunsk.
Bunce.
Yep. So that's that.
Seamus.
Seamus, I like it. Elizabeth.
I think I'm going to go classic and say snowflake.
I like it.
I never had a real life rabbit, but I've had a bunny rabbit toy since I was born. I wasn't super creative as a newborn, so it's always just been bunny. So classic, original. I'll stick with that.
James.
Today is a monumental day. Not because we're all here, because it was announced today that the Spice Girls are reforming.
I saw a picture.
Are you kidding me?
Are you
Of my life.
This is big news.
Are we
So,
breaking this?
No, it's out there.
out there?
It's true.
All five?
All 5.
Get out.
All 5.
Beckham posted a picture
All
with all
5. So
like
I
an
would not get 1 rabbit. I'd get 5 rabbits. And I would name them Scary, Baby, Sporty, Posh, and Ginger.
Amazing.
I appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
A question from over here. We haven't gone to you guys yet. Anything over here? Sorry, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Fine.
It's okay if you don't.
Sorry.
Or how about over here? Yes, in the shades back there.
Hi, James. Susie from Happy Miss Moments. If you can do karaoke, carpool karaoke with any of the characters, which one would you pick, and what song would you guys be singing?
Oh, well, I would choose. I'd want to do it with all of the animals. You know, Jemima Puddle Duck and Miss Tiggy Winkle and all of the rabbits, and we'd just sing a whole collection of any songs that have animals in them. So we do that. We'd open with like the Baha Men's Who Let the Dogs Out and stuff like that. It would be predominantly a animal-based thing.
I got a question here from Facebook from Oscar. What part of the movie stays true to Beatrix Potter's book, and what parts don't? You know, it's a broad question, but tell us.
Most of the movie stays true. It all stays true to Beatrix Potter. So if you've read Beatrix Potter's books, you'll be very happy, and we're pretty confident, surprised that in the very beginning of the movie, it's exactly what you've read in the Beatrix Potter books, and then it's kind of a new adventure for Peter. So it's everything you've read in the tales of all the 24 or 6, I believe, tales of, and then we've kind of moved him on, and if he keeps going, what would happen? So if you like the character of Peter Rabbit and Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail and all the animals, you're in store for a great new adventure.
And I have a question. Why do these rabbits wear jackets? Is there an explanation?
If you don't know, we can't tell you.
It is referenced in the film.
Straightforward as that.
It's referenced in the film.
Yeah, but if you don't get it,
yeah,
we're not going to be the ones to tell you. You can figure it out on your own.
Okay. It's open to interpretation, is what you're saying.
No interpretation.
No?
There's no interpretation. This is something you need to figure out yourself. You can't lay this at our door.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Some point you're going to have to learn to be out there on your own and figure stuff out.
Is it something that I can ask you afterwards privately?
No, absolutely not. I cannot stress it enough.
All right. Let's take another question. Yes, in the front.
Hi. You said that the film, Will, is for people 2 to 98. My mother's 78, and Peter Rabbit's one of her favorite tales, so she absolutely loved it. My question to you is, was there a conscious decision to switch between the regular cartoon animation and the live animation with the bunnies?
In the film, or
in the film? Mm-hmm.
Yes, and you'll see. We don't want to give any spoilers away, but you'll see why we do that. There's 2 sequences in the movie which are very beautifully hand drawn, 2D animation sequences of the tales you love of Peter Rabbit, and then we kind of kick it up a notch. I think this is a perfect place for me to talk about. The only reason why we're able to do all this stuff in the movie, which you guys seen, and what James talked about, how many iterations we did, is because of the animation company that we worked with, Animal Logic, who are producers on this movie as well. They are simply, and I'm not just saying this just like the same way I'm saying this is the best cast, they're the best animation people I've ever seen or seen their work of. You will see this movie, I guarantee you, within 3 minutes, you'll forget that these animals are actually computer generated. You actually, after 4 minutes, you think that they're animals wearing jackets, and that they actually exist in the world. And the fact that we kept changing stuff all the time, and every time we changed something, they would have to go back and reanimate it. And it's an incredible process that is so amazing that you don't see it. And I truly believe it's something, the best work is you never see. And these characters, as Elizabeth said, they come to life, and you can see Elizabeth in it, and you can see Margot and Daisy in them, and that's all because of this absolutely stunning animation job that they did, that really, you believe that they're rabbits. We did try earlier to train rabbits to speak. And that's what put the movie back a year, because trained them and they speak, and what happens? They pass away. So right when they've learned how to speak, we got to get a new rabbit. I'm kidding.
But their dying words are beautiful.
Yeah. They were in the very beginning of the movie. We did have real rabbits that Rose, right? You and Domhnall, you actually, right?
It's a tough year.
Right? No, but you remember we played with rabbits in the very beginning of the set.
We did. No, we did. Yeah. Just to sort of get a sense of
Right.
the physicality, the geography of a rabbit. Yeah.
And you'll see that in the movie that when they hold rabbits and when they're actually you actually sense that they're holding rabbits. So,
Did those real rabbits wear jackets?
God, we can't.
I want to get to the bottom of this. We've got time for 2 more questions. We're going to take one from Facebook and then one last one from you guys.
Little gentleman at the back has been really waiting patiently.
What?
Oh,
Thank you
Gentleman
for
here
that.
in the green. Yeah.
Yes, gentleman in the green.
Thank you. I have a question for Domhnall, and what was it like getting thrown into the wall?
In this movie or in Star Wars, it happens a lot. In both. It was different. On Star Wars, when they really threw me into walls, they would kind of, they had a stunt team they would help. They would be the guys who really took the heavy hits. And on Peter Rabbit, they just threw me into a wall. So that was very different. So I preferred it on Star Wars because the lasting injuries were not so devastating.
No joke, that was the question I was going to ask from somebody on Facebook. So thank you, 2 birds. We got time for one last question. Yes, right here.
So Peter Rabbit really rocked the blue jacket. So I'd like to know, what would your outfit be with your blue denim jacket?
Today is a monumental day.
The blue denim jacket is monumental.
Because the Spice Girls have reached us.
80s is back.
So I would wear Jerry Halliwell's Union Jack print dress from the Brit Awards in 1999 with a blue jacket over the top. Because I cannot stress enough what an incredible day this is.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Thank you very
Really
much.
appreciate it. Thank you guys for all your questions from the media. Thank you guys for checking this out on Facebook Live on Yahoo Entertainment. Thanks for all your questions, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.